Welcome everyone to the latest episode of Resco Powercast. I want to thank MSDW for hosting us as always. My name is Trevor Metcalf. I'm the marketing manager at Resco, and today I'm really excited to have a first an APAC oriented session. So thank you all from your region for joining us. We're really excited to have you and have some content, especially for you. And with me today are Jane Capitolan, the APAC Biz Dev Manager from Resco, and Rick Vozilla, who's the Chief Commercial Officer at Sognos. So thank you both for joining us. This is going to be a great session, great conversation today.
Great to be here.
Looking forward.
Awesome. Well, really, I think, to keep it simple, today we wanted to cover a lot of the field challenges and what we see in the APAC region, and we wanted to make sure that we had the experts with us today, which when I think of it is probably you two come to the top of that list. So really, without further ado, I guess we can kind of dig into the conversation.
Yeah.
And, I would just love to know more about what you two see are like the key challenges in the field from your region. So I suppose either way we could start. Rick, I'd love to know like what you see in your region, what's happening in the field, what are you hearing, and what challenges is your team helping to solve today?
Yeah, thanks for that, Trevor. Look, it's great to be here chatting about this very topic. It's a topic that's very dear to our hearts here at Sognos Solutions. We are a field service first systems integrator and have been working with both Microsoft and Resco for many, many years in this space. So in this region, in Australia, a lot of the opportunities that we work with and a lot of the customers that we have are organizations in remote and rural areas. And so the first issue we have with these is really the intermittent or sometimes very fragmented connectivity in the field. These are organizations that are in either the industrial services or mining sector, for example. And so they have very remote assets, sometimes underground mines in, for example, Western Australia, remote substations across the continent. And so they're operating with minimal to no network coverage, forcing technicians into prolonged offline mode. So that's one of the key challenges. How do we deal with this level of offline from the core systems that these technicians or operators need to run their operations? That's the first one and the most challenging one. The second is we have here in this region a lot of regulatory and compliance complexity. Safety is a big deal. Regulatory inspections are a big deal, equipment certifications. And so, these need to be managed very, very carefully with, photo timestamps, geolocation, digital signatures, audit trails, work health and safety, and of course, local mining regulations as well for those in the mining sector. So regulatory and compliance is a big deal. The third one that I would talk about that comes up a lot for us is that there is inevitably in many of our customers legacy paper-based processes. So many organizations are still heavily reliant on multi-step paper handoffs, spreadsheet exports and imports, and that of course leads to duplication of data entry, leads to transcription errors, and ultimately delays in shifting that information to the decision makers, so that decisions are delayed and sometimes opportunities are missed. And the last area that I'd like to bring to the table in this topic of key challenges for our region is the diversity of the workforce in terms of the age and capability and skills. So we have, everything from, I guess, what we would call the digital natives, the young internet generation where this is fine, using the technologies is no problem, to some older folks in the field, technicians, engineers, frontline workers that we may refer to as paper first people, where the technology is not so familiar to them. And so what we need is a solution and technology that is easy to work with, it provides a good user experience, and is something that enables good user adoption and not too complex and unwieldy to manage. So there, from our perspective, that's what we see in our region in field service in those sectors.
Yeah. Rick, I think those are great. And, paper first, I have not heard that. But that's a very generous nickname. I will have to remember that,
I could have been less kind, but I thought we may use that term instead.
No, that's
use it often.
Hit the nail on the head there. Yeah, I will echo a lot of your points there. And I think, even as Resco, we see other, in those categories, as you mentioned, other benefits too, right? Like offline, it's remote areas and having to be offline for a long time. But I know too that we have some customers that, being able to work in offline with intermittent internet can often be a lifesaver. Just, instead of having your data constantly either trying to sync and unable to, or, trying to do what it can with the signal it has, being able to work offline can, really kind of boost that efficiency, be able to keep on the job even when you have a little bit of internet, but not a lot of internet,
Well,
it's a underrated quality.
No, you're absolutely right, Trevor. And in a country like Australia, this is a massive continent with most of it being empty space in the middle. There's desert and it's mostly unoccupied, but we do have substations and mines and large assets out there that need to be installed and serviced and maintained and inspected. We're not like Singapore. For example, Singapore, highly concentrated internet everywhere, right? Because it's a small, concentrated, very easy to spread internet everywhere. Here, it's not so easy, and we do have large, chunks of hundreds of square miles or kilometers of territory where there's just nobody around, but there could be a mine there, and we need to service it with some intermittent connectivity to some service. So these challenges are real in this country.
Yeah.
I would just like to add that I think last year, Rick, I did make a research about what are the service provider actually in Australia and New Zealand when I was preparing for the trip there, and I did have like a map of where are the locations that have 5G, 4G, or only just 3G, and like talking about it like in offline doesn't necessarily mean like no internet connectivity. It could be like just offline, but you have online, but you have only 3G, which is not really enough if you want to do some sort of like inspections or like maintenance, and maybe not reliable connectivity when, let's say, you go out there in the field, fill out a paper, and then connection is gone. Then you would have to restart again. Exactly. So this is exactly the reason why we're here, and we're going to discuss more about it.
Very, very true.
Yeah, and I even think, from our experience too, even with compliance, right? Just needing the right solution for the field to be able to capture a lot of the data is not just, to prevent missing data, but I often find that there's a lot of field teams that have to, if they don't capture it in the field correctly, that's a lot of time spent to do work outside of the field or even after hours for that matter.
Correct.
So, that can be huge time and could be spent doing a lot of other things.
Absolutely right. And as I mentioned, there's transcription errors, there's errors in getting the data to where it needs to be, a whole host of issues that can complicate an operation if there is that delay and that difficulty in recording and storing and communicating information about what's going on with that particular asset.
Yeah. Now, before we move on, I would just, Jane, I know you're also working alongside people like Rick in the region. Are there any other challenges that you see, or maybe just that echo the ones that Rick mentioned?
I mean, apart from what Rick mentioned, because, we're also present in Japan, and in Japan, it's not in English, right? And maybe compared to Australia and New Zealand. So I think this language localization is also a huge problem if they want to adapt like a new technology, especially outside Japan companies. So this is actually, and also maybe in Southeast Asia. So this is what the trend, for example, like what you said, Rick, in Singapore, they have internet everywhere, but I can tell you that we have also telecom companies who are actually using Resco, but they're mainly using it for their own inspections of infrastructure, basically.
Very good.
Now, we've talked some challenges. I'm hearing offline or inconsistent internet. We're hearing making sure that we are compliant to whether it's safety or government regulation. But I'd love to kind of move it forward a little bit and talk about, what requirements or what features, Rick, have you found like are really key to solving these challenges? Like, Resco aside, as a technology partner, what do you look for to solve some of these big challenges in your region?
Yeah, thanks, Trevor. So the obvious one, reflecting on the offline capabilities or the offline requirements, is having a solution that is robust and does have genuine online, offline mode capabilities, full create, read, update, delete operations in offline mode. Really, really important. So you don't lose any data integrity or fidelity. Full conflict resilient synchronization of that data, again, to maintain that data integrity and not have duplication or data that's corrupted in any way. Delta synchronization of small incremental updates as connectivity comes and goes. And of course, the ability to have solid background replication, again, once connectivity comes into play, when you drift back into an area where there is some connectivity, you want the synchronization and all the data to be intact and not corrupted and not duplicated or triplicated, and to have integrity. So for us, it's so important, and for our customers in those remote areas, very, very important that the solution is what we would call being robust in an offline architecture mode. So that's really, really key. Otherwise, the rest of it is almost academic. But moving on from connectivity, there are a few other really important aspects of the solution that we find our customers are really they find it really important. So one is, a highly configurable form designer, which is what the Resco solution does provide. And in these asset-intensive industries where there is a big safety and health issue, drag and drop questionnaires are really important, and inspections of equipment are really important. So having a good quality questionnaire with conditional logic and multi-select grids and calculated fields, all those sorts of, what you may consider in a desktop to be standard functionality, really important to have on a mobile device in the field in an offline or offline mode. And this is important to address, the evolving compliance regime that we have certainly in a country like Australia, and of course in many countries around the world where safety and security and worker health are important. So the form designer really enables that to take place very, very seamlessly. Another key feature that comes to mind is the ability for multimedia capture. So photos and videos and other media are important to be captured in high resolution for sharing either with other technicians or with customers or with engineers or with whoever they may need to be shared with in a repair or an inspection work order context. So native support for that high resolution capability is really important, and also the ability very quickly and easily with any old device to conduct barcode and QR scanning for a technician who's got his or her hands full, to record voice to text notes in their device, and even to employ things like biometric signatures to ensure the fidelity of a signature, all tied to the one record, the one version of the truth. So that's become a real significant feature for these organizations that want to maintain that high level of integrity around particularly the inspections, repairs, and installations of high value, high importance assets.
Yeah.
One other one that we found to be particularly important for our customers is really the ability to integrate seamlessly with their other applications, their other line of business applications, or their operational systems as they may have. So a solution like the Resco solution set that has out-of-the-box connectors, open data endpoints, particularly as a dynamic systems integrator, which we are, along with as a Resco partner. But as a Dynamics systems integrator, we want to integrate with Dynamics where possible, or the Power Platform, or any other platform really, SAP or bespoke ERPs. Salesforce. We're not allowed to say that word out loud as a Dynamics partner, but you've said it now. Thank you, Jane. Salesforce and really any other enterprise application. These out of the box connectors really make that very seamless and easy, and allow us to automate all sorts of downstream asset and maintenance and work order and KPI reporting, and of course enable dashboards for management to get a view of what's going on. So that's been hugely important for us, that it's simple and straightforward, and we don't have to build a new integration bespoke every time we find a different ERP application. And one last point comes to mind, and that is the ability to employ low-code customization and extensibility. So, when we look at applications like business user portals for form and workflows, ability to weave in some JavaScript hooks and plug in software development kits for advanced logic and offline algorithms, all of that is what we've been doing and employing with our customers in their solution to extend it and to bring additional and new functionality into their overall operation with ease. It hasn't been hard, hasn't been complicated, and hasn't required any complex programming or customization at all. So those are the areas that we find in a solution really help us to solve some of those challenges that we've faced, and help us to deploy really sophisticated and robust solutions for our customers.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Rick. And I mean, I know it might sound a little silly coming from Resco, as this is our bread and butter, but I think, when we talk about data collection in the field, I see it as, the better your data going in, the better your decisions coming out. And definitely being able to have something for more advanced data collection, and then as a result having improved data health, I think is a really underrated part of having like a mobile first advanced data collection in the field, right? I think the organizations I at least have encountered, some of them find that to be a surprising result of having good data collection. So that's one that sticks out to me. But again, Jane, I'd love to know, if you see any other sort of requirements or features that have been helpful to solve some of these challenges in your region. I know you mentioned Japan, for one, has some interesting characteristics, but I'd love to know anything else.
Yeah, I think pretty much Rick mentioned everything, like the key ones, but I would just like to emphasize maybe on the configuration itself, because with these areas, they need to edit, let's say, a couple of like questions, or update every other week to add one more, I don't know, like a question on there. But with this one, you don't really need to like configure and edit everything. You just need to really edit once, and it will be deployed everywhere. So there's no need for like creating a similar project again. And with these areas, it's very often that there could be like changes. So it should be easily accessible to change, like, I don't know, another like multiple choice, for example, or something like that. So, but apart from like all Rick mentioned, I think it's pretty much common to what are the key features that's needed in the other region, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And when you talk about changes too, I think about the ability to do those from the field, right?
Yeah.
Like the ability to, if you need to change a questionnaire or you need to change a dashboard, the ability for someone to do that, you know, yes, having connectivity to be able to upload a change, but to be able to do that from a phone or tablet is wild. I don't think a lot of organizations necessarily have technology that they're able to do that, and I think that's really interesting.
It could even take days, like they want to make a request,
Yeah.
like, can you change this one? And then they're gonna be like taking days before it will be approved or changed.
Yeah, and that in the field that could be hundreds of thousands of dollars every day. So
exactly.
yeah, well, and I know again, having the conversation with the Sognos and Resco teams together. Rick, we know that you use Resco inspections, and I'd love it if you could tell the people in the MS Dynamics world why you use Resco inspections.
Well, we haven't found another solution that does the job as well as Resco inspections in a mobile context, and so that's why we employ Resco inspections with our solutions that demand that kind of important functionality in the hands of engineers and technicians in the field, and really that's the first point. It's Resco inspections is a solution that I would kind of refer to as a field first designed application. Yep. It really is truly engineered for genuine offline operations on whatever your mobile platform might be, iOS, Android, etc. Mm-hmm. And it really doesn't consume a lot of the device performance and footprint, and it is engineered in such a way, the software is engineered so well that you have very predictable synchronization and with the application back in the server, on the host, in the cloud, and so it really does its job as a field application on a mobile device in the hands of an engineer or a technician, and as it's really designed to do. But more than that, you're able to really tailor the user experience very, very well and make it really that organization's or that engineering division's application specific to their needs. So the user interface templates and theming options are really great. We can tailor interfaces for whatever vertical or sector we may be working in, whether it's, as I've mentioned already a few times, the mining sector where there's a lot of use cases here, energy and utilities, telco, those sorts of asset-intensive, field-intensive industries. We can tailor and theme the inspections application in a very granular way for our customers, and also tailor the user experience and the permissions to the role that would be using it, whether it be an inspector or a supervisor, a manager, or whatever other role there may be in that use case. Even down to individual technician preferences can be catered for. So it's very flexible in that way and very tailorable to the user experience as it's required. And of course, as I mentioned already a couple of times, as a Dynamics integrator, along with Resco partner, the Dynamics 365 native integration is really cool for us. There's that direct mapping of inspection entities to the Dynamics tables in the solution. There's no middleware required. We don't need to do any fancy integration work. And so with that native integration, it's very fast. Latency is reduced, integration risk is eliminated, and it becomes a very easy and seamless experience for both our developers deploying the solution and our customers using the resultant application. It's really, really seamless and slick. And so what does all that add up to? Well, what that adds up to is really, I guess, what we would refer to as an accelerated time to value. We can deploy solutions very quickly. We don't need to consume massive amounts of time in development and configuration or any customization. We can go, from a requirements gathering to a pilot in a matter of weeks, full production mode, depending on the nature of the solution. But on average, in under 3 months, very, very quickly, versus, something that might be 2 or 3 or 4 times longer for a custom built alternative to something that is like the Resco inspections application that falls out of the box with so much functionality, so much integration capability, so much user interface variability that can be employed. And it really is a masterful piece of work in those applications where inspections are a thing in a customer, in the field, in mining, telco, utilities, energy, and the like. So for us, that's why we love it, and that's why we've deployed it.
Great.
Yeah, nothing much more to say. No, I think that's great, Rick, to hear directly from you how it's impacting, or your business, or why you turn to something like Resco inspections. And I know we have some hands-on that we'd like to show. I'm looking forward to that. But right before we do, I just want to know, how does Resco inspections impact your end customers? We know it's a field-first design. You're able to tailor it for your industries and different roles. The integration makes for a much quicker time to value. But I just want to know, how does all of this impact your end customers? Like, bottom line, any big numbers,
Well, we've had a look at the numbers, in fact, and we've spoken to our customers. And they're very happy, by the way, with the productivity gains that this application has brought to them from, where they were in a heavily manual, almost running blind for periods of time way of working to, an automated, dynamic, integrated, seamless solution and seamless experience for users all the way up and down the value chain. So the first thing is, our customers have noticed a significant reduction in the inspection cycle time. So these engineers and technicians are inspecting these heavy assets to make sure that they are. Some of them are compliance checks, and some of them are regular safety and also operational checks. So they've recorded between 30 and 40% reduction in inspection cycle time. So that translates into real money. The technicians and engineers can perhaps inspect more assets on a single day, spend less time inspecting and recording and reporting and filing back in some way data to the head office or to the engineering division. So they're getting massive productivity gains and saving a lot of engineer time with the things like automated field validations and pre-populated asset details and a whole bunch of conditional and other logic that can be pre-configured into the solution that can eliminate all sorts of manual and otherwise redundant steps. So that's the first thing. Some real, 30 to 40% is what's been reported to us, reduction in some work effort to do those inspections. Secondly, and maybe even more importantly, is about data accuracy, the improvements in data accuracy. So data accuracy and data loss and missing records has gone to almost zero. Now, there's still humans involved, right? So with the humans involved, sometimes that cannot always go down to zero. But we're talking about less than 2% data loss and less than 2% missing records in the transactions that our engineers are using in this context. So it's the solution and the technology that enables that, the ease of use and the conditional logic and the pre-populated fields, etc. But it's also the offline caching and the background synchronization and the persistent data capture. Even data in flight, the data integrity is maintained in that solution, so there is no lost, missing, corrupt data in the entire transaction from end to end. And that's so vitally important, not only for time saving, not having to redo and refind and recapture data, but also for the safety of the inspected asset, to ensure that we haven't misread and misreported some characteristics of a critical asset. So they're important metrics. The other area that has come to mind, and we've been talking to our customers about, is the ability to perform, things in real time. And what things in real time are important for our customers? Well, compliance reporting, again, in these heavily compliant industries and around mining and energy and utilities, having real time, instant, rolled up dashboards with embedded photo proof of inspections having been performed, even with geolocation recorded, can deliver audit-ready reports in seconds to a compliance division that may need to report this to a compliance authority. So if you can imagine what that might have been like in a manual sense, when there's somebody, again, in a remote area, thousands of miles or kilometers from civilization, and they're inspecting some mine, they're underground inspecting a mine activity and the infrastructure and the engineering aspects of a mine, and then they have to get that somehow back to a head office location. Right. It would have taken days and weeks and months in some instances, but now that instant dashboard reporting is made possible, which is such a huge time saving and compliance benefit to our customers. And the last one that I'll mention, that has been a real positive impact for our end customers, is really the way that the technicians have taken to it, right? It's it's a very, very intuitive solution. And as we said, sometimes, there's a variety of generations in the field, from the internet babies right through to the paper-first individuals that we referred to earlier. Maybe clay tablet first, some of them perhaps as well, I'm not sure. But there's that range of experiences. And so the user experience, the ease of use has really made the uptake very, very strong. The intuitive mobile experience, the fact that the technicians and engineers are able to, with confidence, record accurate data and do it only once, and not have to submit copious amounts of horrible to do paperwork. Use the inbuilt features of their mobile device, voice to text, take some photos, take a video, scan a barcode, scan a QR code, do all those things really easily and quickly. Boom, makes their job actually so much better. And they don't want to be doing admin paperwork duties. They want to be doing engineering duties. Yeah. And so a solution like this enables them to spend more time doing the thing that they're employed to do and like doing, rather than stuff that nobody likes doing, and that is paperwork and filling out forms and ticking boxes.
On Excel, even.
On Excel or on a clipboard or wherever it might be. So that intuitive experience excuse me, has made the uptake very, very strong for our customers.
Yeah, I think we hear that a lot. I mean, whether it's like the bringing your own device or sort of like quality of life experience with the technology, I think having something like Resco that is, mobile first design from the ground up makes a huge difference in that. And like you said, from the spectrum, right? You have the digital first folks who have a certain expectation and they're happy to see that things work the way they expect, versus the more paper first who they're pleasantly surprised things are easier than they thought. And I think that just speaks to both the technology itself, but then also the way that providers like yourself and Sognos can implement something intelligently for an organization. So I think that's great. I want to make sure we do a little show and tell. But Jane, I just want to make sure we don't miss you, and if there's anything that you wanted to add here about just the impact of Resco and others in your region, or what you see, how you see it, please share.
I think what's really interesting to say is that when I visited Australia and New Zealand last year, we get to visit one customer in Hamilton, New Zealand, and they're doing this installation, fiber optics and all of this, and we get to visit to the site when they were really doing the installation, and we were getting some like feedback how they're using the sorry, the application. And
Mhm.
while we were looking, I feel like they have the, like these Maui people from New Zealand, and they usually, like, nothing against them, but they usually have these big hands, and and we were looking at it, and they were like really saying like it's good because we were able to configure the size of the fonts, when they're like doing the inspections. And I guess that's really easy with the configurability, because I think for some applications it's standard like font, you cannot change it, and it's really interesting. And some of these people are not really like this paper first, not too tech savvy, so you just really want to build like an easy application when they wake up in the morning, get the phone or the tablet, open it, and here's my schedule for today. So this is exactly like interesting points, or the trend that we are seeing from the customers that are using the application.
Mhm. Yeah, I love that flexibility. And yeah, without further ado, Rick, the floor is yours, please. I know you had some a pre-recorded demo to show us, and I want to make sure that we can get a good look at it, and we can have you screen share here, and please show us more.
Yeah, I'll do that. So we have we'll see how we go for time. I've got 4 very short pre-recorded snippets of a solution that we have prepared. The first one, I'll just give a quick overview. The first one will be around looking at, very briefly, work order and non-compliance report handling via Resco inspections and questionnaires. In fact, these are all questionnaire related use cases. So work order and non-compliance reporting. Then we'll have a quick look at a workshop build report, again, using the functionality. Thirdly, there's a quality control inspection questionnaire and checklist, which is very, very important for this customer of ours. And finally, again, looking at the non-conformance reporting that we have enabled in a little bit more detail, looking at corrective actions and improvement opportunities using this technology. So, all right, so this is a work order and non-compliance report handling that we have. I've just paused the video there for a moment, just so you can see, because it's a very short video, so you can see what some of the images in the dashboard look like, and down the left-hand side, all the features and functions that we built into it. But what we're seeing here, as I just scroll through a little bit more, here we are. We've just launched the non-compliance report dashboard. So this is, again, a fabulous mobile-first execution of this dashboard. Dynamic non-compliance report capture via questionnaire, image attachments, offline functionality, questionnaire logic, and all reported here seamlessly on the mobile device in a very intuitive dashboard showing all sorts of non-compliance report criteria for the customer. And so that's, as I said, down the left-hand side, we can see all the other features and functions of non-compliance reporting and inspections reporting that is required by the customer. So the second one, as I mentioned, is a workshop build report example. So I'll just share that now. So this particular one is as I said, a work order report. Let me just find where I am here. Let me actually just play it. You can see there is quite a detailed list of questions and criteria, including adding images to this workshop build report, hugely detailed. And I was scrolling through very, very quickly, but you can see, ability to put in digital signatures and report all the activities that is required for an inspection, and then of course rendering a customer-ready workshop builder report that is being created right now in the background, which looks beautiful, looks customer-ready, includes everything that has been reported and recorded for the customer or for the engineering division, whoever the customer might be of this particular report. But at the click of a button, a report that somebody else might spend ages trying to create separately, right? So
I think the first thing just to say is both of those functionalities, I know you're showing it on a desktop, or it looks like with a mouse, but that's also on mobile, just for everyone to watch it, right? Yep.
Also on mobile. Yeah, exactly right. So here's a quality control inspection that we've built as well. And again, you can see the rendering of a quality inspection report very, very quickly, very neatly with embedded images. Looks very professionally produced. And you know, these quality inspections are huge. That was a very short video, but hugely important for these asset intensive customers of ours that are in the business of really providing assurances and guarantees to their customers that they are, you know, either manufacturing. Some of this particular customer manufactures process engineered equipment for the mining sector.
Yeah.
Very high risk, high importance equipment that needs to be of the highest quality, and we need to show that, you know, we have the quality controls and the inspections and the audits around the build of these very expensive pieces of mining equipment that are not going to break at the wrong time. So that's you know, very, very important. And so again, you can see you know, the questionnaire characteristics here, very detailed, nicely presented with some red, amber, green visual communications. The sections have been laid out exactly how the customer wants the questionnaire to be captured, and all the data has you know, deep integrity. We're looking at, you know, task details, loading up task detail reports here. We can look at any, you know, we can drill through into any section of this report very quickly. There's, you know, communications there to supervisors or others. Very, very quick and easy, and mobile first non-compliance reporting for that particular customer. So there we have it. They're the four very, very quick examples and exposure to how we've deployed just a snippet of Resco inspections into a heavy process engineering customer in Western Australia that is in the mining sector, and they're very, very happy with that. And they've been a customer of ours for probably, Jane, is it maybe 5 or 6, 7 years now?
5, 6, 7.
Five,
6, yeah.
something. Yeah, more than 5 or 6 years at least.
Yeah, more than 5, at least 5.
I hope that's been helpful to just give a little glimpse into how we've deployed some of the functionality. I know those videos are very short, but you know, this is not meant to be a full product demo. It's just really an example of how we're using the technologies in our customers.
Yeah, and I think just, you know, to show the core ability of collecting data in the field, and not just text data, but you know, photos, multimedia, have questionnaires that are intelligent and dynamic based on responses, can be edited from mobile, and then all the way through to seeing a report that can be generated on mobile and sent wherever it needs to, and it's all data compliant with very little data loss. I mean, to me, that's the core of, you know, that some of the impact Resco has in the field. So I'm just I'm always happy to see how folks like yourself do it their own way and for what industry. So thank you. Yeah.
And the other aspect of it that I haven't mentioned yet is that, you know, the support that's required is very, very minimal. The solution is robust. The usage of it is solid and intense. However, it doesn't require a lot of support. Things don't break. It doesn't fail. Customers are very, very happy with the low maintenance of a solution like that. They are always looking for extensions to the functionality. So we're very happy to provide that for them. However, it's a really low maintenance outcome in terms of you know, supporting and maintaining the solution for the customer.
Yeah, and that's, we know, is also huge, is how does it go after you launch, right? What do you need to do when there's a change or anything like that?
Precisely.
Just the beginning. So, well, I'm just grateful, Rick, you could be with us, and Jane, thank you as always for being here and
I have maybe a question, Rick.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, because I was just thinking, like I know out there we have this AI hype, and I'm just
Yeah.
thinking, do you see any trend or maybe interest from like clients or let's say prospects, clients, in the need for AI in terms like being out there in the field or inspections with the help of AI for some reason? Is there some sort of like trend that you see?
Mm. Well, of course, everybody is losing their mind with AI in the
The big
world
hype.
today. Yeah, it's a big,
Mhm.
massive hype, but it's in some ways a justified hype. And so, yes, our customers are requesting and exploring how they can use AI to do things like improve productivity even further,
Mm-hmm.
automate processes even more than a standard application can automate processes, to the point where we are starting to think and work with some of our customers on, what kind of autonomous agents may we be able to create and deploy to do certain repeatable, maybe low risk tasks initially,
Mhm.
autonomously without human interaction at all. So yes, it's real. Yes, our customers do want to know how they can employ it for good business reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Save time, save money, improve productivity, improve accuracy as well.
Yeah.
Robots don't make the same mistakes that humans make typically. So let's, improve accuracy of process, make it faster, make it cheaper, and make it something that can improve overall performance of the organization. So yes, it's all happening now. We are working on a number of AI proofs of concept as we speak,
Mm-hmm.
with various customers in various sectors, and we're very keen to see how that starts to evolve as it disperses through the organizations that we're working with. It's coming at a pace now.
Mm-hmm. That's
And
great. I think
more to come.
I think that's where everyone is like really going. I think maybe same for Resco. We try to develop a
Mhm.
couple of AI related functionality. For example, we have this AI like image recognition that it will tell you if you just take a photo. It will tell you that if it's broken or not. But again, you feed it, so it's just as good as how much like the data that you feed to this AI.
Mhm.
So
Exactly.
that's like actually things that actually matter out there in the field or in inspection.
Yeah. Look, it's just like any technology. It's trying to solve similar problems, but in a better way.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to reduce costs, but in a better way. Trying to improve productivity, but in a better way that we haven't been able to do to the same level before. But now we can, because these AI technologies are taking more and more load from the process and the person to do things either semi or ultimately fully autonomously, which is where
Mm-hmm.
the gold is, I think, for that.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. And there's only more to come. And we see it too. Like, I've always said that I see AI as a tool, just as, a mobile first solution is, right? Like you
Mm.
said, there are problems out there. You have to learn what the new technology is and how it steps up to the challenge. And, AI can do that and bring autonomy or, a different level of efficiency in a similar way, or a unique way that even the mobile first technology like Resco can. So I see them marrying together in a way that makes a lot of sense,
Mm-hmm.
Agree.
hmm
I agree.
Well, I want to make sure people know how to be in touch or how to engage with Sonio. So please, Rick, what's the best way for people tuning in or watching this on demand to engage with you and see more of your technology in action?
Well, there's no great secrets to how to find us. Obviously, there's our website, sognos.com.au or sognos.co.nz. We currently have businesses in both Australia and New Zealand, serving customers in both countries of Australasia, as we refer to it here. So there's the website, and there's obviously the contact forms at the website. Of course, there's the contact@sognos.com.au or contact@sognos.co.nz. That folks can reach us reach us at. And there, of course, there are phone numbers on our website as well in the contact page. So any of those means, we'd be more than happy to take questions and engage with any organization or person that has interest in what we've been talking about today.
Amazing. Yeah, and we'll make sure to link a lot of those things below. And I know we even have a graphic or QR code up as we speak for people to take a look at. So yeah, we'll make sure they know how to get in touch. And anything from you, Jane?
You can reach out at resco.net. I will also put my contact details here. You can reach out, scan this QR code over here, and you can reach us out. We also have an upcoming masterclass or training that will happen next week. Actually, it's from 15th of July up to 19th. So it's like a 4 days like master class, and you can really take part of whatever is relevant for you. We have our developers here and a support team are gonna go over how the solution would look like, how to set it up, and it will be easier for you to have a look. And on the other hand, we can always do like a customized demo depending on your specific needs after you reach out to us. And one thing is that if you reach out to us right after this session, the first 5 companies that would reach out to us after this 5 session, we're offering this assessment under Sognos Solutions. They will look into it. They have like a really like hands-on assessment or maybe make a POC. And then coming from Resco side, we are offering this 3 months free licenses to whoever that reach out to us right after this session. So first come, first serve basis. So.
And it's a very valuable service, guys. Don't let this chance go by. Free assessment and some free licensing. How good is that?
Yes.
And if you're seeing this on demand months later, years later, sorry if you missed out, but I hope the contact info is still the same. The value is still there.
Yeah.
Absolutely, for sure.
Alrighty, guys. Well, Rick, Jane, thank you both again for being here today. I'm really glad we could have you on this latest episode of the Powercast, and I hope everyone out there can learn a little bit more about what Sognos does and how they're making an impact with Resco. And we hope to see you for the next one. So thank you both again.
Thank you.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you, Trevor. Thank you, Jane.
Trevor. Thank you,
Thanks,
Rick.
everybody.